So this is why I decided to leave Airbnb. So my name is Sean, and if you haven't seen any of my other videos, I started off my Airbnb adventure years ago at a house called the Smurf House. And at the time, the idea was to BRRRR it. If you guys know what BRRRR means, it's basically I bought it, and then I renovate it, and then I rent it out, and then I repeat that process. And then I hopefully am going to refinance that house at some point and then lower the price on it monthly after you have the equity gain on it, or you can cash out, refinance, whatever. Let's not get into the weeds because that's not this video. But that was the idea. And so I lived in one room, and then I rented out the other room to a friend. And I was going to try to rent out the other room until Sean Rakajic from Airbnb Automated was like, you should just throw it up on Airbnb and see what happens. I'm in the middle of nowhere at a house that no one would want to Airbnb at, so I thought. And it ended up becoming pretty successful. And then I decided just to go ahead whenever my roommate decided to leave due to financial issues, to go ahead and rent out that room as well on Airbnb. And that worked out as well too. And then I was starting to realize, it's like by me living in the house, I'm actually losing money. I can move out of the house and I can rent the entire house out on Airbnb, and I'll end up making $2,500 to $3,000 a month on Airbnb. And to me, that sounded pretty cool. When I bought the house, I bought on an FHA loan, and that basically means I bought it for 3.5% down. And so I bought the house around $220,000. And then what that came out to be was around $1,500. It was a little under $1,600 per month. And then of course I had the bills and everything like that. And so when I moved out, and then I started seeing that $22,000, $25,000, $3,000 a month on Airbnb, in my mind, I thought that I was making that kind of money, but I didn't really factor in the fact that part of that revenue was the cleaning fees. I still needed to pay taxes on it, which I didn't really know at the time. I thought taxes were coming out of it, but it turns out that I had to do back taxes and start paying all my taxes every single month based on my revenue to the city of Dallas. Whoops. Then I didn't factor in that I'm actually paying every single month, for supplies. All right. And then you also got management fees. And then by the time that I added all these things up and my bills, I was like, wow, I'm paying around $500 to $700 a month easy and just overhead to keep this Airbnb running. And so when I factored in the fact that I was on average, on the good month, I was making around $3,000, on a bad month, I was making around $2,000. So let's just say for instance, $2,500. I had like $500 to $700 in expenses. So really I was only making $1,800 to $1,900 a month. But hey, you know what? All is fine, all is good, because I'm only paying $1,500, $1,600 a month in my mortgage. But the city decided to say that house was worth more, and so they had to increase my property taxes. Eesh. And so for those of you that aren't homeowners, the city could just come around someday and say, hey, your $220,000 house, we just looked at it, we actually think it's worth like $300,000 now. And typically you'd think that'd be really cool because you have equity. But with that increased price, you also have to pay increased taxes. And so now I've been paying over $1,900 a month every single month. So those months that I'm not really doing well, I'm actually losing money on Airbnb. I didn't plan for that. And so everything was pretty tight as it was, going into this whole financial crisis and going into the coronavirus stuff. But then all the cancellations started happening. Eesh, wasn't ready for that. And then it ended up being half, and 75% of my cancellations for March were gone. Like, oh shite, wasn't expecting that. April, cancellations started coming in, bop, bop, bop. Then May, started getting cancellations for May. What? And so I have people right now reaching out for May saying that we're not quite sure, they haven't actually canceled yet, but they're saying we're not quite sure if we can make it. We'll have to ride this out and see kind of if we're going to still be able to continue with our May bookings, because it looks like our concert or our venue or event or whatever might get canceled, or the wedding, whatever they're coming in for. So now I'm starting to think to myself, I'm like, wow, so this month March I'm only going to be pulling in $1,200, and then April, as of right now, I'm pulling in like 15 to 16, and I might get more cancellations if it keeps on coming at me the same way it's coming at me right now. So now I'm stuck thinking, I still have all the overhead. And so now, say for instance, I'm pulling in $1,500 a month, I'm actually making $1,000, if not a little less, maybe $800, $900 on this house that I have a mortgage now at just under $2,000. And so I started scrambling. I had to do what's called an exit strategy. They gotta have an access to an exit strategy. That's part of the benefit of being a homeowner and then being able to have an extra strategy in your house versus if you're doing something to where you don't own the home, then what are you gonna do? The only thing you can really do is get out of your leases and have all that affect your credit, or try to ride this wave out and slash your prices all the way down next to nothing just to hopefully not go bankrupt. And so that's where I'm at. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, okay, well, I'm losing a good amount of money every single month on this. And even if I slash the prices down to like nothing, then I still am going to come out of this as a loser. And I like being a loser. I spent my entire childhood being a loser, and I refuse to do it anymore. So what I decided to do was I took my property off of Airbnb. I have another property as well that does sometimes 8, 10, even more. Some months it's done $15,000 in 1 month. So I've done really well on that other property. So that one, no need for exit strategy. But this other one, I was like, okay, well, I guess the time is nigh. I need to do this. And so canceled all my Airbnb, started putting it up on the MLS, Zillow, Craigslist, HotPads, all those things. Apartments.com, actually, that's a good one. I got some leads from that. And as soon as I put it up for $1,900 a month to cover all my bases, just to make sure that I can weather this storm, then I started getting a whole bunch of phone calls. Now I'm touring this property consistently, and because I'm a real estate agent that also deals with leases, I'm getting clients now too. So this situation that could have got me in a lot of trouble and a lot of hot water now has not only got me to where I was normally with Airbnb, but now I have less stresses. I don't have to worry about property manager. I don't have to worry about constantly resupplying this thing, the bills. I don't have to worry about pissing off my neighbors, getting the cops called on me, all these things. And I'm making just as much money as I was before. On top of that, what's really cool about this is now, because it's now an official, no longer Airbnb property, short-term rental, but it's actually a long-term rental, I can now take this to my CPA and I can write off the square footage and start getting tax incentives. There's so many tax loopholes when you're a real estate investor. On top of that, I have a house full of furniture. And so even if it was the exact same, I now have a whole house of furniture I can sell. And let's say, for instance, out of the entire house, I only get $5,000. That $5,000 is more than I would have got if I would have kept it on Airbnb, and that makes up for all the gaps for the 2 or 3 months, 4 months possibly, that I would have been way low and lost a lot of money on the Airbnb platform. So overall, this has been a strategy that I decided to use for any of those people out there that are struggling right now and they own their own properties. Start doing the analyzing process and seeing what can happen to you guys. My personal portfolio is now divided between long-term rentals and Airbnb. But in another video, I'm going to talk to you about how I don't even trust Airbnb for the other property anymore. I diversified, and now I'm on all sorts of platforms. Now, like I said, I'm going to wait until I get a little more evidence and empirical data before I tell you exactly how that's gone. So far, it's going good, but I just want to make sure to get a little more research before I talk to you guys about that. But I have one little tip. If you guys bought a house, I didn't know this, but if you guys bought a house, which I did, on an FHA loan. That was the first house I got because it's the only thing I can get approved for because I'm a real estate agent. I write everything off. But I got the FHA loan. I couldn't turn it ever into an Airbnb, or I couldn't turn it into a long-term rental. But what I did do, I just found out about, is a thing called Streamline. So you can do a FHA Streamline, which allows you to turn your house, as long as you live there at some point, you can prove you live there, I think for like a year, you can turn it into a commercial property or an investment property. And so now my rate is going from that $1,900 a month mortgage, I'm going to drop it down to just over $1,600. And now I'm going to battle with the Dallas County to somehow lower my taxes. I have to prove to them, it's a whole process, but I have to basically prove my house is overvalued, and so therefore I lower my monthly taxes. So I can go from a little over $1,600 a month because of that Streamline, and now it's an official rental property, to now I can even lower it lower than that if I can somehow battle Dallas County because of the taxes. So it could be 15, maybe 14. Ooh, I hope so. So stay tuned for that. I'll keep you updated with how that goes. but I hope this video was of value to somebody. Now, if you're a rental arbitrage and you watch this, you might not be like, this is a waste of time. Why did I watch this video? This has nothing to do with me. It's true, it might not, but think about this. This video is going in your memory bank, and if you're not like me, you might actually remember things that happened to you. You might actually have a stored data that you can go through a file and open it up. And this might take a month, this might take a year, this might take 5 years until you have a conversation or a situation that you'd be like, oh yeah, I saw a video about that one guy. He was telling me about how he did this one thing. So that could be the thing that changes your financial direction, is this one video that you can now use the strategy, put it in your pocket, and bring it out whenever time is right. Because times are about to change. The only thing we know for sure in life is that things are going to change. And over the next 6 months to a year, the financial market, the real estate market, the investor, short-term, long-term market, and home prices are definitely going to change. Okay, thank you guys so much. Make sure to be prepared. Make sure to watch my channel and also my buddy Sean Rakajich's channel over at Airbnb Automated. He's been doing a lot of really good research on all this coronavirus Airbnb stuff lately. And also I wanted, at the end of the video, you know how people talk about a whole bunch of stuff that no one really cares about, but if you do care about it, thank you so much everybody. I'm going to do that little section right now. Make sure to like and subscribe, comment below, and for all of you guys that really like what I'm doing here, thank you so much for all the views I've been getting lately. I went from making a lot of effort to make these old videos, getting like 10 views per video. Now I'm getting like 500, sometimes 3,000 views. What? Like crazy. Thank you guys so much, and all the comments have been great. I'm gonna have to do a lot of research on some of the comments, what you guys have been suggesting for future videos. I'm gonna have to really dive into that. That way I can make future videos about some of the stuff you guys have been talking about with the insurance. Has been super cool. I'm gonna have to look into that as well. But with that being said, I want you guys to know I am never going to sell anything on this channel. I'm going to give you all this information for free. And whenever I get to 1,000 subscribers and we do that really cool live Q&A with me and Sean Rakajich, and it's basically going to be just Sean Rakajich because no one cares about asking me stuff. And thanks again, Sean Rakajich, for, yeah, there he is. He's right over there, for agreeing to do that. But once I get to that, I can start doing ads. So every ad dollar that I get is not going to go to my pocket. It's going to go right back into the channel. And also, I know this sounds crazy, but I got a Patreon now. And I don't know exactly how to use it yet. I might put it in the list below if I figure it out by the time this video is edited. But what this Patreon is for, if it's $5, $10, $20, $100, whatever you want to give, is that money is going to go towards paying to hire someone to be a research assistant. And so once I get enough money to actually hire someone full-time to be a research assistant, then they basically are just going to be doing full-time research to add value to this channel. If I have even more money and I already have that person paid for, I'm going to have a script writer and hopefully make some really good content for you guys and have it really organized, and versus this whole free-form thought thing. If I have even more money, then I'm going to put it towards getting a camera guy and an editor, making even more great content. So I promised you guys, if this channel continues to do as well as it's done over the last couple of weeks, I will continue to improve the quality and the data and the content I give to you, and I will not take any kind of personal finance from it. I can't remember what the word was. Okay, thank you guys so much for supporting this, and I need a sign off like Sean always does. What's your sign off, Sean?
I will see you on the other side.
I will see you on the other side. I can't use his. Here, Sean, let's work on a sign off. You gotta help me come up with the sign off. Come on here, buddy.
Okay.
Come on. I don't think he's gonna be in the. Where's your head gonna be at? Do we have to
hold on?
Squeeze in?
I think this is Sean's.
That's just what I gotta do, just like that.
I think so. What do you want to say?
I don't know. In the darkest hour and the brightest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Beware, Green Lantern's light. No, that's already used though.
And then the salute.
Yeah, I can't be Green Lantern.
And he'll see you on the other side.
See you guys.
That's great.